I just want to preface this by saying I do not own any content or music content that is shown or played in my videos. I only own my voice, the stories, and the characters that I'll be writing, reading, and creating with. I will let you know in the description if they are another person's, and I will state which characters are mine and which are someone else's. Hope you enjoy. The group was suited up to leave the hospital they were staying at for a while just to get healed up. They were all ready to leave and head back to the lab they just got away from when Francis spoke up. "Guys, I can't let Emma go back there. She just lost her sister. She needs time to grieve." Skylar sighed a bit in concern because she knew he was right. She hugged her cousin one last time before they stepped out of the doors and parted ways. The group went back to their houses, but the couple stayed together. They all just needed to be by each other at the moment. Skylar walked next to Daniel as he walked her to her house, and as they got to the door, Daniel stopped Skylar and locked eyes with her. "Skylar, do you really think it's the best idea to go back there?" Daniel asked with a concerned and kind of stern tone. "I have to, Daniel. I need to help those people under the Shadows' control," Skylar responded. Daniel sighed and put a hand on her cheek. "I just don't think it's the best idea for you to go there. I love you too much to lose you," he said, giving Skylar a bit of a concerned smile, and he kissed her. When he pulled back, he looked at her. "Just something to think about, my little flower." He smiled a bit, and he walked off to his house as Skylar walked into hers. Time skip. Skylar put up her hair and looked at the ground from her window. She jumped out of it, and she opened a portal, and she started walking to the lab again. While she was walking, Sarah was pacing in the living room downstairs. She heard a voice she had known and has not heard in a long time. "Hello again, Sarah," the shadow spoke. "What do you want?" Sarah snapped back. "Why, I just want to see one of my old pals again." "We aren't pals." "Well, the real reason. I also just want to tell you that you don't have a choice." Before Sarah could even question what it was talking about, she lost control. She walked to the kitchen and grabbed a knife from the drawer. Skylar finally made it back to the lab after a long time of walking. She was near the edge of the tree line when she was grabbed by someone and knocked out. It was a few hours later when Skylar finally woke up, and she looked around again and groaned a bit in annoyance. She did not want to be in this room again. She took a moment to identify her surroundings. The smell of flesh blood was clear and very pungent. There were more organs and bones on the table. She was tied down again, and she had the same throbbing in her head. Andrea walked back in a few minutes later, and Skylar looked at her with a mix of, "I'm ready for whatever you got, throw it at me, and get the hell away from me." Andrea laughed a bit, and she looked at Skylar. "I'm not here to hurt you this time. I'm here to show you what's going on after you left," she told her little sister. "What do you mean, what's going on after I left?" she asked with a slight growl as Andrea put up a screen. "Let me show you," Andrea said. She started showing Skylar images and videos of all her friends dead in many horrifying different ways. She fought against the rope, and Andrea shut off the screen. Andrea walked over to her and cut the ropes that were holding her. Skylar looked at her confused. Andrea opened a portal and pushed Skylar through it. "Make this right, Skylar. And don't listen to the voice," was the last thing Skylar heard her sister say, and the last thing she saw when the portal closed was her sister stabbing herself in the chest and falling to the ground. Skylar stood there in horror and shock as she heard a gunshot come from the house she was by. When she looked at her eyes went wide and she felt her stomach turn as she saw whose house it was. Daniel's. Skylar ran into the house and fell to the ground, sobbing at the scene she saw. Daniel and his siblings were all dead in the living room. Daniel was shot in the head. Ruth had her throat slit. Daisy was a drug overdose. Kiara was stabbed in the chest. Skylar walked in and saw Rainbow dead as well. She hung herself. She cut her down and put Rainbow on the bed and covered her with a sheet that was on the bed. She walked into the other rooms and grabbed the sheets from their beds and went back to the living room, putting them over each of them. When they were covered, she sat on the ground and cried. Eventually, she grabbed Daniel's jacket as she started to walk through the now silent and dead neighborhood.